So what is it like down there? You mentioned the ice goes from a few feet thick and to some unknown depth. And are you constrained in your depth window depending on where you are? And how much stress does that add to the crew when they're operating in that manner?
Yeah, we can be very constrained. To answer this question, I sort of have to give a little bit of discussion on how ice is formed. And I went in there thinking that, all the water just freezes and it's just a nice ice sheet of varying thickness. But it turns out that when ice forms, the different flows can kind of crash into one another. And instead of fusing together, they create like one will go under the other one. And they create these long, very deep ice structures that are called ice keels. And they can go down to, 200 feet deep.
Huh.
And so the Arctic basin is actually very deep. But in order to get there, we have to go through places that are not very deep. The Pacific side, you have to go through the Bering Strait, and that is not deep. And the route that I took on to the Atlantic side went through the Narrow Strait, which is a body of water in between Greenland and Canada, and that's also not very deep. So you've got these things over you that are coming down 200 feet, and then you have the ground that is coming up at you. You can be very constrained. I mean, to the tune of several meters above and below you.
Wow. So I guess you're not going very fast when you go through those narrow places. You take your time, very careful with your navigation and the like. So I was going to ask you is it jagged or flat? But I think you've already answered that question. So how do you know what's above and what's in front of you when you're going through that? Because if you've got an ice keel in front of you, it's kind of nice to know it's there, right?
Yes, sir. One of the certification processes of going into an ice X or operating under the ice is we will train the crew on how to operate, but we also certify our equipment to make sure that our sensors are tuned exactly properly to give us the most accurate information about what's above us and what's in front of us. So we do have, active sensors, active sonar sensors that kind of project in front of us, at the side of us, and on the top of us and below us, to tell us how deep the water is or how close the seabed is. And all those kind of operate in concert, to make sure that we are safe in our space of the water that we want to be in. And, if we're driving, and we're not going to know that there is something in front of us until it gets relatively close, to be honest with you. And so the teams have to be trained to, all right, we have an ice keel in front of us, and, we have some limited number of yards to react. And immediately the ship control parties, our helms, have to put the rudder like hard over to avoid missing this. And it's day in, day out, hour in, hour out. It's, watching the sensors, and as soon as you get indication that you got something in front of you, you got to turn.